Everyone on Twitter wants to know, what do you think of Ron Wilson's going?
Look, I had my say about him, well, I'd say 3.5 years ago. The blood's in the water. And it's a funny thing, though. Here's what kills me. Burke goes to my bosses and says, I'm a bad guy because I said something vicious, I think the words were, about his coach. 2 weeks later, he fires him. Figure that one out, folks. All right. Put up my beautiful kids. And that's, last night I'm at the Marlies and Rebels game. And look at the hot dog here. These guys, beautiful guys, they're T.O. Young Nats. They will never play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I heard your interview with Burke. And he said, well, we have a tough time here. Every team has 5 guys come in from Ontario. Now, I just like to tell you, there's more people come from Ontario, hockey players come from Ontario, any other place in the world. Anybody want to argue with me? I'll tell you, more than anybody. Let me just give you Vancouver. I wrote it down, I had to write it down like there. Vancouver has 4. Pittsburgh has 6 from Ontario. St. Louis, beautiful team, surprise team, 9. Last year, Boston had 7 from Ontario. This year, they got 9 from Ontario. When Chicago won it the year before, they had 7. Guess every team in the National Hockey League has a guy from Ontario except one. Guess who it is? It's Ontario's Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, if you want American college guys, if you want Americans, you got the team. It's the only organization in the world, in Toronto, in Canada, that cheers when Canada loses. And it's an absolute shame. There's 40,000 kids, like I showed you, in the GTHL. Do you hear that? 40,000. Check the guys that are, Segan, Skinner, Spezza, you go down the whole list. They all come from the GTHL. This guy has none. He has all Americans. He has American college guys that play for him right now, and that's the way I feel it right now. And I could go on and on, the whole deal, and it's the best sort. And here's another thing that bugs me. We pay his salary from Ontario. We are the fans that are there from Ontario. We are the only ones that would put up going 4 years in a row with no, and once finally they sing something at the end, and they're all bad. I mean, not make the playoffs 3 years in a row, probably not 4, to sit with it and not have one guy from Ontario. That's a crime, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm out with them every night. And when I see these kids busting their tails and everything, and I think they won't make Toronto. They'd love to make Toronto, and that's all I got to say about that.
One interesting thing is Gauthier in Montreal said he'd try to get a Francophone coach and then went with a non-Francophone coach and got all kinds of trouble. But he's always made the point, and you agreed with it. Might as well have some French-Canadians on the team, but they don't. They actually could use some.
Well, Minnesota, they say they try to get as many guys from Minnesota.
Right.
It goes, everybody in America, you have to laugh at the Americans down there, the announcers. If they have an American, or if they have for that city senate. I had my say now.
One thing on Brian there about the Americans.
Your friend,
Brian? If Detroit found Sweden, let's just say, and they were able to mine Sweden for a lot of great players, and they got ahead of the curve there. Actually, Cliff Fletcher, when he was in...
what are you talking about?
I'm just going to tell you something here.
Well, tell me.
Detroit had the Swedes. Cliff Fletcher had actually college guys when they won the Cup in '89 in Calgary.
Come on, get with it.
He has the American angle. You could understand why he may mind.
He's an American.
So what?
What? So
that's,
what?
That's an advantage to him. He knows
what? He's an American. Yeah, it's a great advantage. Wonderful advantage. Well, not making the playoffs 4 years in a row.
True, so
wonderful advantage. That's the way I feel about it. Hey, I say what I think. I'm not pussyfooting around like some guys. You know what I mean? I don't go on and ask them soft questions. I say it like it is. If you want to get me...
I was asking soft questions?
Yeah, you were.
Like what?
Well, I don't know. After the one question you asked, I didn't listen anymore. I say it is, if he wants my job, if he wants to get me fired like he tried to do, get me fired, go behind my back with my bosses and try to get me fired. Not only that, he went to the governors and said it too. All right? Now, I don't care. You want to get me off? You want to take me on? 2 years ago, you said you were going to do something to me in the playoffs. Remember that? And I said, oh, Brian Burke, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm shaking right now. Do your best. Now, all right, give me the next question about Saskatchewan. Let me talk about Saskatchewan here, all right? Just sit there. Okay?
What? Don't forget the movie, though. We got
all right.
90 seconds.
All right. How much?
90 seconds. We got to.
All right, I'll talk about another thing that bugs me about it. If you want to know, I kept quiet. I was going to say Saskatoon and everything like that because I didn't want it leaked out.
I asked. Tough question.
I know, but I thought I would be a good guy. I'll talk about Saskatoon. And who leaked it? The NHL leaked it out. The NHL leaked it out, and I'm trying to be a good guy. I thought it was going to. I'll talk about Saskatoon next week. I'm a little excited.
Can I just say, this great chemistry you and I have is going to be tomorrow night on the CBC, The Wrath of Grapes. Please enjoy an excerpt from Don's big movie coming up.